everybody! Vincent60, also known as the Goofy Bib. Okay, long story short, I did make an announcement saying I was going to be making a a Time Walker alternate variant, so you guys could see the multiple variants are of the Time Walker. So I think we should get started. Off with the original Time Walker, the original one who started everything from the main timeline to the other main timeline to every single part of the timeline. The Adventures in Time Walker. This Time Walker is very different from all the other ones, since this was made by the Dark Doctor, specifically after the Time War. At one point, the Time Walker from that universe hurt pretty badly at a point where he had to regenerate, but instead of regenerating normal liquid, some blood spilled out, which the Dark Doctor collected, making a clone, which is the Adventures in Time Walker. Now his personality is sort of described as a egotistical person who is fully aware that he's not the original. He's basically not nice, and like the Time Walker, he's more on his genocide path. He does have a TARDIS, but this TARDIS is sometimes either disguised as a vehicle or as an ordinary TT capsule. Let's move on to the next one. This motherfucker. It's Blue Walker. Yep. He's basically in his first incarnation, since in the original Time Walker, he was, the Zero Time Walker. Or this timeline, he took the first incarnation. The Blue Walker, as we speak, he's still traveling around the universe as we speak, traveling that familiar blue box. And yes, I am thinking of bringing back the show, since I never really began the show at this point. I only just showed a trailer and that's it. But trust me, when I bring back the Blue Walker, you are all gonna love it. The Blue Walker was actually introduced in the Merry Christmas episode from the Time Walker. If I'm correct, I think it was episode 3 on season 2. And the original Time Walker actually crash landed to a different planet, which was actually owned by a Time Lord called Reyes, Phoenix, I don't know what it is. Long story short, the Time Walker basically sort of met these other variants, which I'm going to be getting the other variant into. There was also the Italian Time Walker, but we're also going to talk about that in another video. Walker FBPE. This place basically like hours. Basically takes place on the episode season 2, Paper School, where Alice got out of her room a little bit too early instead of the original Time Walker, because in the main timeline, he tricked Miss Circle into entering the room, causing Miss Circle to get some damage in her compass with her leg and her arms and one of her ears. In this timeline, the Time Walker, he never really he never really met Miss Circle, because in the original timeline, he took the left turn, which he would bump to Miss Circle and the events of the original series would take place. But in this alternate timeline, he never really met Miss Circle, as in, like, he took the wrong turn, and Alice got out of her room a little too early, resulting in her finding the TARDIS, knowing it was bigger on the inside, and did a couple of damages. The TARDIS of the Time Walker is immortal, yes. Get heavily damaged, such as a console and much more materials. Eventually, she would find Alex, specifically at his, prime, when he was, a full-grown teenager. And then reality might struck, as in Alex got killed. Time Walker, when he returned back to the TARDIS, he saw a pool of blood, which he followed it, leaving to the exit, seeing Alex dead on the floor, against wide open. His chest bones are just sticking out. His organs are, oh god, oh Jesus Christ. I think I can't even describe this, because holy shit, I'm gonna vomit. Long story short, he's basically decapitated. And the Time Walker, after that, something bursted through the Time Walker. There was like a tick in his head, like a voice telling him, which was his subconscious telling him, stay here so this never happens again. So let's just say he went up eventually they found Alex's room, And as he entered, he literally asked, he literally fucking asked her dead ass. He said, "Did you kill my child?" And she said, "Yeah, I murdered him. He was so delicious." And this motherfucker literally pulled out a device, which was okay. This version of the Time Walker, like in the original one, the original Time Walker has some unique gadgets that are disguised as objects. This version has lost his shit. He basically had a banana, which was used as a laser and as an edible food that could regenerate itself. He destroyed the disguise, making it a holy gun. A gun that's specifically meant to kill demons, trapping them in an endless torture. Eventually, the Time Walker did defeated Alice, but instead of killing her, he decapitated her head and her legs and put them in his office. After that, 10 years passed by, and he basically remodeled Alice's room. Instead of a dark void, is now a library room. But his was an office. His TARDIS, the telephone booth, basically is sort of in a corner in some bookshelves. TARDIS does work, but it only talks to him from time to time, whispering secrets from the known universe that he's not even supposed to know. Personality traits. After the death of Alex, he has been nothing but completely grumpy, completely narcissistic. He won't let either adults or children enter his office. But if his office is unlocked, which is half of the time, he has been living in that school for like days and years. And if a student is getting chased by a teacher, because if you don't know, FBPE universe, if you get an F on a test, that will immediately result in your death. So, if, for example, if you're running around the flipping hallways, max speed, full velocity, trying to get away from a teacher that's trying to kill you, you'll either see Alice's old room, where instead of saying Alice's old room, where it says exit out, get out, or Alice's room, we'll say Time Walker's office. And if you do get in, the teacher that's chasing you will not enter. As in, well, if they do try, because you see, the Time Walkers, he has a perception filter in that door. Only people that have an intelligent, incredible smart brain can actually get inside. It's basically like the silence. So in the silence, they have the full physical ability to make people forget if you just look away. Doctor Who. So that's literally what the door is meant to do. If you exit the room, you will immediately forget what were you doing like 20 minutes ago. And if you had something like, for example, like a with the paper with the student that had it has a big plastered F on it, the paper will literally disappear with the F. It will be replaced with an A, you know. So the Time Walker, or the FVPE Time Walker, has a perception filter that protects him or the person who's inside. They need help. I tell you, the TARDIS has access to this. It knows what it needs to do, and it follows protocols. So it technically has the full ability to fly and kill anyone if needed. If the Time Walker So basically, yeah, he gets grumpy, and yeah, that's all about what I had to say. Before you say, "Oh, who is this one?" This is actually the Nemesis 10 Time Walker. Now, basically, this Time Walker doesn't really have enough backstory because it was only shown in the final episode of the Time Walker. When the god Reyes, or as I like to call him, Ivanin, or Danny, we're just gonna call him Danny. As Danny showed the image or the video where the Time Walker was shown, because in actuality it was the Dark Doctor, but that was just in his 8th incarnation. He basically traveled to another universe with another Time Walker, which, let me tell you, this Time Walker was not just a simple man. He was a family man. This person was a dad. He was a dad, and he died because of a malfunction. Because the Dark Doctor on his second incarnation. That was his like no, that was his 99 incarnation, which he looked really similar to the Time Walker, so it would easily get him confused. He put a malfunction code on the which on the alternate Time Walker. We're just gonna call him Blue Hair. Put like a malfunction on Blue Hair, and as he did, when the Time Walker, the Nemesis 10 Time Walker tried to take off, the TARDIS of his TARDIS malfunction, making it stave, activating the TARDIS dematerialization and activating the TARDIS code 10 reactors. Which, let me tell you, if you do that, the reactors will heat up at a point where the TARDIS on the interior will explode. And that could, it has enough force to kill a simple human. He's basically a dad, and he's basically married to his, well, companion, because they both had a child. And he was about to go to like another planet to save, because there was an invasion happening. And he then, since he really got to that planet, the invasion it went off. The whole planet is now dead. There's not even a single human or like an alternate, like an alien in that planet, because the Nemesis 10 Time Walker never really went in that planet since he's dead. He was married to a woman that was in her 40s. So yeah, technically, she's now basically raising a child by herself, not fully aware that her husband is dead. So as we speak, she's literally taking care of her child, thinking that her husband abandoned her, but in actuality, he's dead. He died because of the Dark Doctor in his 99 incarnation. And a precaution, he did left some stuff for his wife and for his male son. So basically, he left them $1,000 billion, which that could be enough to make anyone a trillionaire. He left them money, if basically a precaution, if he leaves or if he dies or if the next incarnation happens too soon, she will legally have the money. She will become a trillionaire. But trust me, until this day, she's remarried. You ask him, why the fuck didn't he regenerate it? He's a Time Lord, right? Yes, he's half human, half Time Lord. Because of a malfunction, the TARDIS blew up on him, changing his DNA to human. 100% human, 0% Time Walker. So it basically altered his DNA, giving him access to finally die. Our wife, her name is Emily, by the way. Emily is now taking care of her only child, and she's not fully aware that her dead husband. Now, the thing this was really sad is because some families in real life actually do get abandoned by their husbands. So basically, the Time Walker or the Nemesis 10 Time Walker is dead, while Emily is just grieving, thinking that it was all her fault, but actually, it's not her fault. So basically, yeah, she's basically right now, she's still alive. And oh shit, she fine as hell. Damn, I'm talking fine as hell. I'm talking shawty, take me out on a date. Fine as hell. Son, Lucas, is now in college and he's basically living his life. She's basically now with her remarried husband and she's living her life. But the thing that's most likely concerning about, well, it is that the 10 Time Walker did left her something. Her own TARDIS, which she's not fully aware of. Where is it? It's basically in the shack where the TARDIS used to be. It's just disguised as a, well, grandfather clock. Let's continue. This Time Walker actually put me a lot of annoyance because of this one, the original creator from the original Vortex, this and that, I got myself in a little bit of trouble with him and that, and yeah. This basically was the ex Time Walker, as in this is a Time Walker that was played by my ex friend Will, which since I was gonna make an episode, a full on animated episode, but me and him's downfall, yeah, I basically scrapped that, so I basically call him the scrapped Walker. I mean, he would have played well. He would have played the Time Walker, but this one is basically like stuck in the past. Well, yeah. So one thing, he's also dead. Yeah, this Time Walker was actually dead since he was like released by the uh, experimental law. He did many crimes, and as he did those many crimes, he was actually sent by death penalty, and he's actually dead as we speak. He's not even made a full video explaining his story, is because he died much after but came back to life. And yeah, that's where he died. The reason how he died, when his TARDIS crash landed, he already had like a brain concussion. He basically slipped and fall. When the TARDIS crash landed, it shook, made him fall, and hit his head on the console, basically ending his life. Oh wait, but he's a Time Lord. Doesn't he regenerate? Yes, but since the death was unnoticeable, since there's no wounds or injuries, and sometimes a little bit of the brain does get into the head, meaning he will not regenerate. Yeah, he's dead. Ah, yes, the Legends in Time Walker. Y'all may not like this or something, but this one, this bitchy aw goober, he is a fucking femboy. Know y'all ought to be like, she's a femboy? As in, he's a femboy? You one of them femboys? Not a literal femboy, he's one of them weird, zesty femboys? Yes, he is. You like the Time Walker and you like femboys? This, this fucking goober will literally make you smile every fucking. He's weird. He's clingy. He's weird. He's too touchy. Low-key, he'll even try to touch your fingers. No, no. Someone get a restraining order on this femboy. Yeah, if you like the Time Walker and you like a femboy, this is the one for you. Yes, for you. And I'm talking to all the femboy lovers out there. Yeah, this is basically another Time Walker that basically did shoes. So he's basically like the I do have a name for it. What was his name? His name was the Impossible Time Walker. This Time Walker is much different since he's basically a mix between the original Time Walker and the Doctor, specifically the Timeless Warrior Doctor. He's basically narcissistic, sometimes really funny. And hey, his TARDIS basically is literally like a chameleon circuit that there's only two exteriors. So when the TARDIS lands in somewhere completely decimated and weird, like in a town, it disguises itself as a police box. But when the TARDIS is in a place like a desert or like a spaceship or somewhere really cold, the TARDIS transforms itself into the exterior. It transforms itself to a telephone booth. Oh yeah, I do have a final one. Yeah, I do have it here. Yeah. You have to, yeah. So basically, this is the Lost in Grief Time Walker. Now, this one is literally like what would happen if, what would happen if Alex basically, like, when on season two, this takes place on season two when the Time Walker returns, because he did got his regenerations back. The TARDIS took some away so he doesn't change because the TARDIS likes the Time Walker. She doesn't want to let him die. So yeah, this basically, yeah. When the Time Walker sort of steps out, it goes to Alex's house, knocks on the door. Alex basically sort of, answers and obviously being angry, slapping the Time Walker in the cheek because because the Time Walker abandoned him. Now, there was a good reason. Time Walker abandoned Alex because he was fighting Kronos. Kronos, the literal embodiment of death. I think he's a Gallifreyan who has access to TARDISes. Killed much more than several TARDISes with their pilots. So the fucked up part about, Kronos in the original timeline, he's stuck in the Matrix. But he might come back. Okay, I'm not gonna give it too much spoilers. Yeah, basically, this is what would happen if Alex was fed up with so many of the Time Walker's bullshit at a point where the Time Walker, he had hopes until Alex literally said, I don't want to be with you anymore. He basically, was trying to fucking gaslight the Time Walker. Well, it was working. Alex was just fed up with so many of the Time Walker's bullshit. He trusted him. He doesn't have the old hope that he had that the Time Walker might return. And he returns just like this. Alex literally just, closes the door. But since the Time Walker was filled with a little bit of depression, a little bit of sadness, because of his own son literally neglecting him, he goes into the TARDIS. Since, the TARDIS immediately gets itself on, like, private, as in foolproof. It's, like, silent. Like, fucking private. So, yeah, because of that, the Time Walker never really heard of the Invisidons, which were they're invisible creatures that they kill people while they're not looking, or, not being fully aware. Since the Invisidon test, they basically snuck into Alex's house because in the original timeline, the Time Walker used a couple of tools and materials, as in using Alex's furnace or like his stove to make a dryholic explosion, which would give the exact same chemicals to kill the creatures. But since the Time Walker never really, was this arrogant, as in, like, he would never went to the house, Alex would be dead, and he is. His body was dismembered in 3 parts. The head bit into 2, while the forearm was ripped in half. 3 of its fingers are missing. So yeah, the Time Walker is now keeping. Well, since the Time Walker finally got out of the TARDIS, got into Alex's house without his consent, not knowing that Alex was now dead, yeah, when he did saw the body, he cried. Like, he fucking cried depression a lot. Eventually, he called the police, and, but he did it in an anonymous voice because he doesn't want to get caught. He doesn't want to get framed. So he called the police and got into his TARDIS and took off. After that, he never stood foot on Earth again. It's basically the only place he's not allowed to go from his point of view. Basically, from that, like, alternate reality, the Dark Doctor did not exist in that alternate reality, as in he never went to that reality because he tried, but he couldn't. Like, there's a force field, like something that's keeping him locked out somewhere he cannot get in, because if he tries to get in fully, his TARDIS and him will be erased from existence. That's all that I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me explaining all my variants from the Time Walker from my child's creation. Now, oh yeah, and about the Doctor Who anniversary, you guys are gonna love it, but it's gonna be split into 2 parts because of time. Yes, time. I did sit up a lot. Like, I got no sleep. Bye everyone. I love you. Now let me give you all a big fat kiss on the forehead so you guys can go to sleep. Mwah. Good night.